Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to my live quilting chat, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is our, I believe, 86th Tipsy Tuesday episode. I'm going to have to make sure that we remember when we do 100. But thank you for being with me. I'm excited for our show tonight, of course. I hope you are too. We're going to keep going with the Wanda Quilt Along, but make sure if you're new here, make sure you introduce yourself, put your name in the comments, and where you're tuning in from. Say hi to everybody, old friends, new friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said earlier, tonight we're going to continue with our Wanda Quilt Along. We're going to do part 2, so we're going to be working on our B blocks. It's been really exciting to see all of your blocks, and for me, even more excited about how much fun you're having, how easy this block is and addicting. So love that. Welcome to the stripology world of G-Easy patterns. They are G-Easy, right? If you're new here, make sure you use those thumbs ups and hearts. We love those. If you like what you see, that always helps us spread the word. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel wherever you prefer to watch. Now, if you are on Facebook, you're new here. If you're not in Gudrun's Quilt Crew, that is our group on Facebook. Make sure you come and join us there for all the fun, lots of visual entertainment, and just great, great vibe. All right, so we have a giveaway every single show. 2 winners every single show. One is chosen randomly from your live comment, so the more you comment, hey, better chance to win. And then we always do a question at the end of the show. So you have a chance to win even though you're not able to watch us live. So last week we had our question and I asked you what was your favorite soup, because this is soup season. There's a soup made in this house at least once or twice a week, and then it lasts the rest of the week. Beautiful thing. And so the winner from last week is Denise Mayette, and her favorite soup is Italian wedding soup. Yum, that is good. I might need to scope out a good vegan recipe for that soup. Sounds awesome. All right, so speaking of soups, I have had a lot of requests for the ginger curry noodle soup that I talked about last show. It was one of my favorites, one of your favorites. And guess what? Mr. HP made a pot of soup. When was it? Thursday or Friday?
I do believe it was.
Yeah, it was earlier this week or last week. Yeah, so
Thursday.
he cooked up this amazing soup. I was the sous chef. I just sat on the sideline and instructed and chopped a little bit, but he did it. He did it. And those of you wanting the recipe, so I wanted just to show you the book. So since I'm an author, I'm not going to give out a recipe that's in a book. This is the book. It's The Kitchen 101. I have all 3 of their books. They have now changed their name to Bad Manners Cooking Company or something like that. But they are all vegan recipes. They are amazing, and there's a little bit of cussing in the recipes, just a warning. But I think it's pretty funny. So I enjoy it. I laugh out loud reading recipes. And this soup is on page 77. So if you want to check it out, if you like, I've cooked almost everything in these books, and they've been well loved. As you can see, it's falling apart. So that's always a sign of a well-used book. So I have used these pretty much every single recipe in here, and they're really great. They really talk you through if you want to make it vegan. And of course, you can always add meat to all these recipes, but they are delicious, and that soup in particular never fails. All right, so I actually have another soup in the pot that I made right before the show that we're excited to have. That's your favorite. Yeah, Thai coconut soup.
Oh, that's
yes.
hurry the show up. Let's go.
He forgot. He was so bummed. He forgot to say it when we were talking about our favorite soups. He forgot to say the soup that used to be every time I left town, he would go to the Thai place and get a veggie tom kha kai soup, the coconut soup.
That is.
Yes, and you're so bummed that I haven't been traveling, so you haven't been able to get your Thai soup as much. Because he would go literally the day I would fly out and then get an extra big batch and eat that for 3 days. So it has, well, you've had it a few times this past year, but not as many times. Not as many times. Because I could always count on maybe a little leftover piece in the fridge when I got home. But so I made it. Mine is a little different from the restaurants, but it's still good.
Still delicious.
Still delicious. All right, so thank you all for all your great wishes for the surgery. I'm recovering well. Actually, I can put full weight on my knee. It's all good. I got my stitches out tomorrow and my first PT appointment. So I'm expecting to be running in no time. Don't worry. I think I did really well in the first 2 to 3 days. I just was holding back and icing the whole day, and it really kept all the inflammation down. Now, today was the first day that I kind of put in a full day at work at the warehouse, and I can kind of feel it. So after the show, knee is elevated, and there's going to be ice pack on there. So I'm doing really good. And so hopefully everything keeps going well, and I'll be running around. Let's hope. All right, so I wanted to, before we dive into our so long, talk about tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, is a special day, you know, not because there's going to be an inauguration or new president, but it's the 20th Fast and Furious Club. Yes, there will be a Project Live Fast and Furious Club early tomorrow morning, possibly tonight, and that is our True Hearts table topper. And this one, you know, perfect to make for Valentine's Day, of course, but I always want to, you know, expand your thinking a little bit. So think anniversaries, engagement parties, weddings, or anything. I was also thinking like a heart health, like if somebody has had heart surgery. These are really kind of great for little gifts like that. So just think outside the box. I love it. Hearts are always welcome all year long because we need lots of love in this world and we'll all be happy. So we have, so how that works, of course, if you did purchase the 9 months or the trimester, the second trimester, this will automatically be in your account on GE Quilt Designs. You will get an email notification when it's there. And if you are purchasing just one project at a time, same thing, the project will be ready to buy at that time. Now, we do have 2 different colorways of kits still available. We have this one with the pink hearts and the gray background, and then we have a white background with red hearts. So we still have a few left if you wanted to secure a kit. Get on that. So any questions on that? Are you excited about Fast and Furious Club? You got to send hearts now. Let's send hearts. Hearts. Send the hearts. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be pretty quick to make this. It's a little bit putzier beforehand, but once you get to sewing on the backing and batting, of course these are all quilt as you go, so they go pretty fast. And so, what did you say? Oh, can you use Minky for a quilt as you go project? You can. I have not done it, so it might be really thick, but if you're just doing like one piece of Minky, I have done a Minky back and a quilt as you go baby quilt. I've done that. It's a little bit sticky on your machine, but if you have a really good walking foot, it's still doable. It's doable. So, all right. So I wanted to show you this one trick that I use a lot, and I kind of remembered that I haven't shown you guys. Because I've shown you, of course, how the ruler sticker work and how great they are. And, of course, on all my rulers and things. But I used this trick for the ruler stickers in the video for the True Hearts table topper. Because in the video, we're pre-piecing all these units with the fabrics. And so then there's units going from A to, I don't know, K or something, A, B, C, D. And so just to kind of number them. So let's check out this photo. I took a picture of what I do with my ruler stickers. And so you can write on your ruler stickers just with a Sharpie pen, a Sharpie marker pen like that. And so I always have a sheet of stickers that have A, B, C, D, and however long. And then as soon as I pieced that unit, I stuck the arrow on there. And of course, it doesn't stick and damage the fabric because it peels off pretty easily, but it's great to have them there, have them lined up, and then I just peel that right off and put it right back on my sticker. So I'll show you in the overhead. So I always have my stickers kind of number. You can even do numbers too if you're working on a pattern that has the numbers, but you can also do just the letters, and you can do different colors. So just wanted to share that little trick with you. No need to, because it's nice because it sticks to it so they don't like fall off. Like I know a lot of people have those little tiles and they place on there, but this way it sticks on so it doesn't get messed up, and I like that part. So I think if we don't have any more questions about Fast and Furious Club or stickers, I think it's time to kind of move on to our Wanda, getting our Wanda on. So before we start, go to the website, click on the blog. That's where you get all the information of what has already been done. It's linked to all the videos that have been done in the Wanda, some frequently asked questions where you can get the pattern and all of that. Of course, the pattern is found in my Stripology Mixology 2 book. And a little extra celebration is the best-selling quilt book in the United States today. So cheers, yay, yay, yay. Thank you all for that. And so this one is on page 55, and the quilt is made of 5-inch squares, background, sashing fabric, and binding. So easy, easy. We just did the first step last week, so which we did all of our A blocks. And so if you want to join in, it's never too late. You can go back and watch the videos. It's however long you want. And so just one thing, if you were one of the first ones to get the book, there is a correction piece in there. So you can go to pattern corrections on my website, which is now found at the bottom of the home page. You'll find pattern corrections, and that's where you have the accurate yardage for the background. All right, so we are doing, of course, all these demos live. So I just wanted to tell you, if I say something wrong, which actually happened last week, if I say something wrong, we can't edit the video because I'm doing this live. So normally when we have videos that's pre-recorded, we edit it and we check them if I say something wrong. Because sometimes when I'm doing stuff live, my brain has to be a few sentences ahead. So sometimes I just say the wrong thing. And you know, my apologies. I did correct it when I was asked about it later in the show. So just know that if I say something odd, just hang out, watch the whole show. I might correct myself later. And usually people correct me in the comments. So I love you guys for that. So please correct me. Last week it was about, I lined up my ruler and then I said to cut on the 0 slit, but what I meant was line up on the 0 and you cut through the 1/2 inch. And I did cut through the 1/2 inch. So just in this case, do what I do and not what I say. Usually it's the other way around. But my brain has to be in so many places at the same time. So that happens. So please correct me. Let's move on. And we're ready for the Wanda. All right, so now we're continuing on with Block B. We're going to go through step 11 in the book, so make sure you always follow along with the book and just use the video as an extra guide. So this is going to be very similar to Block A. We're doing Block B. So in the first step, before we did anything, we split our 5-inch squares into 2 groups. So you should have all your squares for your B blocks set aside, right? Sometimes it's very important to do that in the beginning because when we get excited, we over sew, and then all of a sudden you've made a whole bunch of A blocks and don't have enough for the B blocks. Now, so what you want to do, we're going to switch to the overhead camera. So first thing that I like to do that is actually not described in the pattern, I just like to do that to be more organized, is take however many, depends on what size you're making. So I'm making a lap, so I know I need to make 10 B blocks. So what I start with, I pick out the centers for my B blocks. So if you're doing scrappy, you just pick any 10 squares, or depending on the size, all the center squares that you want. If you're doing a light and dark, like I'm kind of doing, I made sure to set aside 5 darks and 5 light centers. So make sure you do that. Then once you have that set aside, then you start sewing them together into pairs. So we sew them together into pairs, and since I'm doing light and dark, so I always made sure to sew a light to a dark, and then I just pressed it to one side. I pressed it to the dark, but we're going to get switched on that. If you want to be more organized, now, for example, if you have very few fabrics, you want to probably be more organized so you don't end up with the same fabrics touching or multiples of the same fabric in the same block. So a great little tip to be more organized is I pick which 4 are going to be in a block. So 4 sets of 2 is going to make 2 blocks. And it's going to make, since I have lights and darks, it's going to make 1 with a dark center and 1 with a light center. So just know that. So then I try to pick 4, so I have 4 different fabrics here and 4 different fabrics here. So that way I know they're never going to touch. So these pairs will go with these 2 squares. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I'm going to set these aside. So that's what I've done with my pairs. I put them together into groups of 4. So then I am always sure that it's not going to get messed up. All right, so now we're going to cut these. So I am just going to stack 2 up at the same time. Now this is going to be very similar to what I demoed for the A blocks, but we're just going to turn and twist. If we're using the Stripology rulers, we're going to turn and twist them a different way than before. So first I have my units here, and I will align them inside along the 0 slit, and then I have my 5-inch slit here, and then I have my 0 line here on the bottom. Now I'm using the XL. It's going to be the exact same with the squared ruler, and you can even do it with the original Stripology. It's going to be the same numberings. So before we twisted the ruler clockwise, now we're going to twist it counterclockwise. So we're going to twist it, but make sure that this corner, the 5-inch and the 0 line, I put a red sticker there just to know exactly where that point is. And now we're going to turn the ruler counterclockwise, keeping this in the same spot so this corner is matching the corner of the fabric. And then we only twisted to the, we twisted all the way to the 4-inch slit. So I find the 4-inch slit. 4-inch slit is supposed to hit on this corner, opposite corner, right here. So then I put my red sticker there. So it's going to be on the 4-inch slit and the 10.5-inch line. It's really nice to have it there. All right, so now that we have it positioned correctly, we are going to cut through the 4.5-inch slit. So with my yellow arrow is where my cut slit is. So I place my rotary cutter in here, and I just make that cut. So it's the opposite unit from our A blocks. So it's cut the opposite way. And of course, here's my 2 darks and 2 lights, so I have to cut the other 2. But I'm going to demonstrate that with my just a regular ruler. So as I showed before, you can just mark and measure and mark. So a 1/2 inch, because this one is going to be cut this way. The 8 blocks were cut this way. So then now I'm going to mark a 1/2 inch from the top here and a 1/2 inch from the bottom on the opposite side. And then you can just lay a ruler on those 2 markings and cut apart. If you have a Stripology mat or any kind of mat, you can also just use the numbers on your mat, or the markings on your mat. So I can lay my piece here, because these are 1/2 inch apart, and then I can just align my ruler with this 1/2 inch from here, and then with this line 1/2 inch from the bottom, and then I cut them apart. Fabric is always right side up. You want to make sure the right side up, because if you flip it down, it's going to be reversed. So now we have same units. So 2 of these will go to the stack with the dark big ones, and the other 2 here. So this will go with a dark center, with my dark center, and then the darks will go with my light center. Does that make sense? Now, if you're not doing lights and darks, don't worry about that. But it's nice to have 4 different ones that, you know, can really, then you're not sure to not have the same fabrics on each side. All right, so now the next step, just like before, we want to take all the pieces and make sure that the seam is pressed towards the bigger piece. So seams are to the bigger piece on these, but they're opposite on these. So we're going to just take our iron and flip this over here to this side. So now we have all our units pressed, and then we're ready to start the sewing. So as before, it's a partial seam on the first seam, and we're going now in the opposite circle. So if we just line these up first, so we're happy with which one goes where, like this. So I think this looks good. Actually, I would like the 2 teals to be on opposite ends, so I just switch these around. So that looks kind of good to me. Then I'm ready to go. So we are going to start with the one here. I like to start with the one here on the right. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I flip this one over like this, and now we're aligning the 90-degree corners on the bottom right corner here. So before it was on the top, and we started sewing and stopped. This time we're going to start sewing about 1 inch from the end, inch and a half from the end here. So we're going to start sewing here, and we're going to sew all the way down. So I have this first piece here. We'll show you. So I started sewing here, and I stitched all the way down. All right, so now we're going to just finger press this out. Always press away from that center square. So finger press out. And now we're going to work our way around clockwise. In the B blocks, we went counterclockwise. So the next piece I'm going to add is going to go here. So I'm going to turn this and place the next one. Since everything is pressed correctly, you want to nest this seam. Make sure they are well nested. Put a pop-up pin in here, and then you will have no trouble making that fit nicely. And then you're going to actually start sewing here at the top. Yes, this little piece extends it, so just place your foot right on top of this. Don't try and sew from the very end, because then this might get eaten into your machine. And since we don't need to start sewing up until here, so just put your whole foot on that little tip. And then stitch all the way down. All the way down, and we have, that looks like this. So we have this piece, right? Sewn all the way down. We're going to finger press that out, and we have 2 on. All right, moving on to our next piece is going to be on this side. Same thing. Pop it on. Stitch all the way down, press out, and we are here. So we have 1 more to add on the bottom. So, which I'm going to do this one. Nope, not this one. It needs to be this one. There we go. So we place this one. We have to just pull this one apart so we can have access to the full extent down here, so that we can place this 90-degree corner all the way down here. Lay it on, pin here, and we can stitch all the way down. And then all we have to do is sew that first partial seam. So we are right here now. Finger press this out. That first partial seam that we did, we fold this whole piece back over and make sure to nest this seam. I still, even though it's a short distance, I still like to pin it, just because if anything got crinkled up. And then all you do is go to the top and stitch all the way to here. If you're more comfortable starting where you ended, you can flip it over and start here and sew down. It doesn't make any difference. So you can do either way. Just make sure when you get to where you started, I always take 2-3 stitches that I stitch over that same seam just to kind of secure it. And then once you press that out, we have our full block. So swap out magic of television. Here we go. So we have our full block, and this is our B block. So now same thing. Last step is just to trim up our block. So all you do, and that was very well explained when we did block A with the Stripology rulers. We have our 9.5-inch square marked out, and so all I have to do is center it in that white square inside the block, so it's even on all sides. There's no lines to match up anywhere, no seams to match up, so that is just so helpful. I have my bottom slits marked, which ones I need to cut through, and they're marked on the XL ruler as 9.5, but I still have an arrow on there. I make my 2 cuts, and then all we do is turn our block, and now as we align it back up, now we have a line here to put that horizontal white line on. And as I explained in the first part of the sew along with A blocks, you can choose if you use the top of the line or the bottom of the line or the middle of the line to line up. It's not going to matter because the cuts are going this way. So it's still going to be completely accurate. So don't worry about it too hard. And 2 cuts, and we have our beautiful B block trimmed up and ready to go. So I know these are going to go together fast for you. The A blocks did. It was so fun to see all you surprise posts about how easy that was. So that is it for this part. So I want you to finish all your B blocks. I know you're kind of anxious to get further, and I know some people have just not been able to stop. I understand. Don't worry. It's great to see all those quilts come together. We like to see finishes. But, you know, if you want to follow along to get tips along the way, next week we'll be talking about the sashing. And I know I've gotten some questions about whether you're using a plaid, a diagonal plaid, a regular plaid, or stripes, regular stripe, or diagonal stripes. If a regular stripe, should we cut it on the bias? I say no. You don't have to unless you really want to. But I'm going to be talking more about that next week. So I am going to be using a diagonal stripe. Yes, it does not work like a plaid, so it's not going to be symmetrical. It goes this way. So I think a lot of people that are worried about that little square, which way to turn it. But you know what? It's all going to work out. You can turn it any which way you want. So we'll talk about that more next week when we get into the sashing. All right. Why can't you sew blocks like you did with block A? Because it's reversed, you just have to go. It's the same technique. You're just going the opposite direction. We're going clockwise. A blocks, we went counterclockwise just because the shape of the units. So you just have to start that way and continue that direction. The top of my pairs is ending up at 10 3/4, not at 10 1/2. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of getting that angle. And as you can see, once we squared up, who knew? Nobody knew if you were a little off. Doesn't really matter. Sylvia said, could you cut the same way as block A and just flip the fabric over? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. I am just so adamant because I've taught a lot of classes, as you know, and sewn a lot of quilts, written a lot of patterns. I like to make things as clear and easy as possible to eliminate mistakes. So that's why I always have you do it separately with the fabric face up, just like when I was teaching you guys the Elvira quilt. It just eliminates mistakes. So I write it 2 different ways so that you can always have your fabric face up. Okay, yeah, I just answered that question. All right, everybody's loving it. Why not start at the 90-degree corner? You can. You'd have to flip it over. You would have to flip it over if you want to start it that way. But if you don't flip it over, you're sewing the wrong side. Just know that. So just follow my directions. It'll be easy. Doesn't matter which color is on top when you cut. In the pattern, A has gray on bottom. No, it doesn't matter because you will get 2 units that are interchangeable, so it does not matter at all. If you accidentally cut into a block and don't have more fabric, would iron on interfacing help patch it? Yes. You can put a little fusible on the back. You could even do a small zigzag stitch even over that with matching thread if you wanted to secure it even more. Depending on how far you went in, probably. Now, if it's just a little bit and it's just going to be on the edge, you probably don't need to stitch over it, but it will just help. Okay, can you show the ruler placement to show the cuts again? Yes, I can do that. So I'll put my pair, turn the ruler to the other side. So what you want to do is just like you started with the A blocks, you have that pair inside the 0 and the 5 right here. So you're going to mark this corner. So you see this corner down here on the 5-inch and the 0, mark it with a sticker, and then that is the corner that stays in place when you turn the ruler counterclockwise. You turn it, and turn it until that 4-inch slit hits the corner, the top left corner of the fabric. So a little further, right there. So then you're going to cut on the 4.5. Make sense? So you can take a picture of that. So just pause and you can take a picture of it. But it's just opposite from the A block. All right, any more questions? You have Facebook questions? They're all there? Okay, somebody also did a little boo-boo with a cutter. Okay, great. Had my accent strip chosen, but not sure I love it. Looking for another choice. That's a great thing about fabric. You can always choose a different one. Are those placements the same for Stripology squared ruler? Yes, exact same, because it's all on that side. So exact same placements for the squared ruler. And even the original. You just don't, remember on the original, the 0 does not start. The 0 is on the 2-inch line. All right. Who knew we could make a 9 patch with only 5 squares? Genius. Thank you. Yeah, well, you technically can make 2 blocks with 10 squares. But yes, that's how my crazy brain works. I want to figure that out. Cheryl, I cut all using the 1/2-inch mark. Oh, all the A's, yes, but you can't cut on the 1/2-inch mark for the B's. Everybody's surprised how fast things went together. That's great. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. That was easy, right? After the first A block, once you've done that, I know you'll get this really, really quickly. It'll be very easy. So loving all of the quilts, all of the blocks. I can't wait to see all these amazing Wanda quilts come together. I think it'll be just fabulous. Huh? Wanda is on the wall, of course. We still have Honey in the corner. Honey is in the corner. And a lot of you I know have been asking for what accent color I use for my Honey quilt, because I use the Be Grateful fabrics. And so I use the charcoal circle burst that we've had in 1 yards, and it's been out of stock for a really long time, but guess what? It's coming. It's coming. So I'm excited to get that. And then I have little Katie on the shelf there because it's Valentine's fabric. So it's coming. Valentine's is coming. And this one is a quick one to whip up. We actually have some Valentine's fabric on the way. Didn't make it by today, maybe after I left the warehouse, but we have some charm packs and layer cakes coming of some Valentine's good stuff. And you know what? It's okay if you don't get it done before this Valentine's Day. It's fine. It's always good for next year. All right, so since we're moving on from Wanda, I think, do we have a live winner? Yeah? Yes. Who's our live winner for $25 gift card? Robin Jones. Congratulations, Robin. If you are watching, send us a quick message or an email, and we will get you your gift card. If you've purchased from us before, we would just find you automatically and add it to your account. So you will receive an email from us. But send us a little line if you are watching. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we got some new things in. I have always forgotten to show you the speckled fat quarter bundle, and I'm realizing I left it again at home, so at the warehouse. So I am going to have to show you that later. But we have a brand new bundle that is really, really adorable by Deb Strain from Moda, and this is called Homegrown Salsa. Now, how many of you have a garden and make your own salsa? I just fell in love with this print. It is so cute and fun with a black background and all of the pickle jars and salsa jars, all the vegetables, and I love the typography on it. So it comes in this black, and then we have it in the white as well, or the light background in the bundle, and then everything in the bundle is just so stinking cute. So we've got the peppers, the hot peppers, of course, and in 2 colorways, actually 3. Now the red as well, and then oh yeah, this one comes in the red as well. So this is the main print too, in the red. So just these awesome colors. I chose kind of black and red and this kind of vanilla color, and then you could accent it with anything. So then we have the basic. I love these little specks on the black and the red and the light. And then we have awesome stripes. What a cool stripe. And the black and white one as well. And then we have a green accent plaid. It's perfect, the perfect green that goes with all that. So I just added that in there for a fun accent. And so that is the bundle, the homegrown bundle. Now we do have 1 yards. Where are they? We have the big print in the black, and then the 2 tone on tones with the little triangle speck. So these are Homegrown Salsa, Blackboard, Salt, and Multi. So that's what we have in 1 yards, and then the bundle. Oh, for this, I'm like thinking table runners. How great for, like, for example, the off-kilter table runner. It'll be great for placemats, like the Friday Fiesta placemats, to really feature these prints. All of the little trivets and like napkins. How great would these be as like basket liners? Like use the napkin pattern from December to make basket liners. Great for gifts, anything like that. Great for all the trivets and hot pads, table runner, placemats. That's what I would use it for. It'd even be cute just to do the little lids if you do your own canning, you know, how you do the fabric on the top. That's what would be fun if I was the canner. If I had time to do that, that's what I would do. Now, why don't you can? Probably because we don't grow any vegetables. No.
Too busy running cameras.
Too busy running cameras, I agree. Too busy writing patterns. We have another mini bundle. This one is one of my favorites because you guys know I love unique stuff. And most of these fabrics are from Dear Stella. And I love the name because it's called Pour Some Sugar on Me. And it's rock and roll. So it's all these guitar players with the amps. Well, actually, there's a drummer in there. Did you notice? There's a drummer in there. And so this is one of the prints. And then we have, so this is only 6 pieces. So a mini bundle. 6 half yards. We have the cassettes. Okay, we're aging ourselves. But, of course, we had those back in the day. Yeah, classic. We have the instruments with guitar, keyboard, and, of course, a boombox. Yes, sorry. I was like, I had jukebox in my head. I was like, no, it's not a jukebox. Boombox. I got a really cool boombox when I was 14, and you could take the speakers off, and really get a great sound. And then he hooked them back on so you could walk around with it. And then this kind of graffiti print, which I think is really cool, has a little bit of musical stuff in here. And then I added to this line, I added 2 musical prints that I've been kind of hoarding, saving for the right place, and these just work perfectly in there because this one has the cassettes and even a vinyl in there and a little bit of red, touch of red, and then of course the keyboard print here.
Gotta make a quilt out of this one.
I do. So this is just like 6 half yards, so it's only 3 yards total. But of course, you always ask me what could we add to this. So I just kind of walked over to our 1 yard bins and started playing. So just to show you what, if I were to make a quilt, which now I'm being pressured to do, is this going to be for your studio then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, pick a pattern then. All right. So then I chose, so I kind of thought, because there's black kind of throughout, we got 2 black prints. I would probably add some cool black prints. So I found Deco Stitch. I love that because it has a little bit of gray, some movement. This one has some specks of white because it works really well with it. Another one, this is Spectrostatic Black. And then this is the Spotted Quotation that has specks of gray and white in it. And then I like this one too because it's got a little bit more kind of distressed look. And I thought this would be cool. And then I would just add blues because this one is blue. There's a lot of blue in here. And so I found some really cool blues that kind of match the vibe. First one was, of course, the camo because it just matches this vibe. The blue camo, and then I picked a little geometric, the blue geometric, the spectrostatic with the aquatic because it has white specks, and then this is the thatched horizon. So this is probably what I would pick for the bases of a quilt if I were to make a big quilt and needing to add fabrics. Yeah, Wanda might be good. That is true. So speaking of, if it was a Wanda, so this is probably what I would use for my fabrics then, right? So this is a little extra lesson in how my brain goes when I'm picking out fabric for a quilt. So then if I needed an accent color to pull out, like for example, if I wanted to make Amelie, or if I wanted to make Clarissa, I would need an accent fabric. So one option, or Wanda for the sashing, one option would be pulling out these little bits of yellow with kind of almost a chartreuse cool fabric. So these 2 I found is the Spectrostatic Chartreuse or the Speckled Metallic Sunshine. These both would be a good option. And another color to pull out would be, of course, red, because that's throughout. And so I found this one is like a perfect match. This is the Spotted Christmas Red, or the London Diagonal Plaid. So are you what are you thinking, Mr. HP? You would do the red?
I like the red.
I like the red too. Look, it would be very classic black, blue, and red. Hot.
That's it.
Let's
go.
Now, if you're a little out there, I would probably go with the chartreuse, but this will be really good too. So just a little extra playing. It's really fun to have a place where I can just go and play. And even though this may only become an imaginary quilt, but I had really fun, a lot of fun picking it out and envisioning it in my head. But it seems like I'm getting some pressure to make it not just an imaginary quilt.
I would never pressure you.
Oh, you wouldn't? Okay. Thank you for that, honey. I know that.
Strong suggestion and energy.
Okay, okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you. Or hear you. Yeah.
It's a fun one.
It would be a fun one. Be fun to make. You'd have to make me a really good playlist to play when I'm sewing out of these. Right?
Deal.
Yeah. All right. So we have some new things also, just kind of random. We have some more new 1 yards. I know some of you have been waiting for our plaid. We got a black plaid, black and red, and then a couple of low volume fabrics that are Bumblebee Basics from Andover. The button rainbow sprinkles buttons. We have it in navy now, back in navy in the 1 yards, and in the white as 3 yards. So that's back in stock. I know we had a lot of requests for these, but That is cool. So I see a lot of comments on the different coloring. So it would be cool to say which one would you have picked red as the accent, or would you have gone the wild yellow? Yellow is, the Pantone color of the year. So which one would you have chosen, red or yellow? Let me know in the comments. I will still, if it's a quilt for him, I will let him choose it. Don't worry. We also have the irons back in stock. We got a big shipment of irons, so they're back in stock. Happy about that. And we sold out of XL rulers, but they're on the way. So they'll be there tomorrow. XL rulers tomorrow. So that is all the new stuff. We have lots of cool stuff coming. Oh my gosh. So much cool stuff coming. It just doesn't get here fast enough. I'm a little impatient now. Okay, so we have any more questions on this? Okay, that's cool. All right, so we have just have to finish it off with a giveaway question. I want to say that I did do some sewing on, probably, was it day 3 after surgery? I did do like 4 hours of sewing, which was awesome. But then I was good and went and iced my knee. But it was awesome. I have some new things coming, some exciting stuff coming. And I get always so giddy that I want to show it too fast, but I'm not allowed to yet.
Show it.
No, I can't. I can't.
I tried it.
Not yet. Not yet. All right, so we have, of course, another chance to win our giveaway question. So answer me this question. Have you ever sewn with solids, solid fabrics? I get that question a lot because when people look at my quilts, they don't see much of that. And that's because I don't usually sew with only solids. I don't have anything against quilts that have solids. I just like the texture of prints, so I like tone on tones. However, solids have a place. So I do use them. There are times when a background or an accent fabric just needs to be real quiet and provide that kind of a base, and that's when I use solids. So you will see solids in my quilts. Mostly it's white or black or gray, anything like that, kind of to provide that calm and usually to pull out, to make the pattern shine. So I do use it a lot that way. Doesn't mean I haven't made a quilt with solids. I have a couple that I have made with complete solids. I just love prints too much, so I just love to use them. So, but I'd love to hear yours. So all you have to do is answer the questions in the comments, and you will automatically be entered into the giveaway, which we'll announce next week. Now, of course, next week, Tipsy Tuesday, will be here Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we will be doing part 3 of our Wanda Quilt Along. Just want to remind you, if you've fallen behind or need to find something, go to the website, click on the blog, and there's a Wanda Quilt Along blog post that we keep updating every week to add all the little links that you need to find stuff. So that's there. And next week we'll be working on the sashing, so getting closer to that finish. So that is going to be January 26th, 7 p.m. Central. And you actually do not want to miss that show, because there's another special announcement. Not just the Wanda. You want to tune in. Exciting stuff. And then, of course, I will be live this next Friday. Happy Friday show will be January 22nd, 3 p.m. Central Time. And we'll kick off the weekend with a cocktail, of course. But reminder, get up early. If you're in Fast and Furious Club, your project will be there possibly tonight. Depends on how late I go tonight, but it'll be there. I'm excited. Making some beautiful heart table toppers, true hearts. And so with that being said, are we good? We're good, and no more questions? Of course. You can try. But you'll have to wait. I'm so excited about this, but I can't talk anymore because I might blurt something out. All right, so everybody, that's it for us tonight. I think it's time for some coconut soup. A little bit of coconut soup. Thanks everybody for being here, and I will see you on Friday. And then, of course, don't miss next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thanks everybody. Have a great night.